Well, welcome back to Module 5. In this module, we're going to talk about converting the people that are now prospects, your social media prospects, into customers or distributors. So we've got these people that have an interest now. In other words, we've done the invitation. We've piqued their interest. Now, how do you convert? How do you get those people to go ahead and make the decision, become educated enough to make the decision to go ahead and become a customer or go ahead and become a distributor? Now, some people ask, should I focus on customers or should I focus on distributors? And the answer is both. I will tell you this out of full disclosure. I came up from an old school that was all about growing the network. It wasn't as much about gathering customers. Yes, we did it. Yes, I did it as kind of a necessary evil. Oh, I'll get 10 customers because I want to get 1,000 people to each get 10 customers, okay? But my philosophy always was, the bigger the network I can grow, that's where the leverage is, that's where the huge opportunity is, that's where the bigger money is. So I'm going to focus there, and then I'll default back to customer. But I got to tell you, a couple things have happened recently. One is there's been some industry-wide studies done as far as the reason people join the network marketing in whatever way, their entry point, and then the reason they stay. And the most fascinating thing came out of this study. Some people join as a customer. They just join for the product, but they stay for the opportunity. They become a product fan. They become a raving fan of the product itself, and their imagination starts to go, okay, they get connected with the people. Well, maybe I could share this with some other people. So they join for the product, they stay for the opportunity. But an equal amount join for the opportunity and for whatever reason aren't willing to face their fears to grow a network, but they stay for the product. So it's an equal amount of both of those entry points and reasons why they stay, an equal amount. So here's the lesson from the statistics that have come out recently. A major eye-opener for me is go to people where they are. If they're resistant to this entrepreneurial aspect, they're not ready to become entrepreneurs, if they're scared, if they have too much fear, too much doubt, too much uncertainty, but they're passionate, they're interested in the product, go ahead and have an entry point there. Fantastic. Okay, but don't be afraid to talk about the opportunity. Some people use the product as, if they focus only on product because they're afraid to talk about the opportunity. And I don't want you to be stuck there. Don't use this as an excuse to just talk about product because you're afraid to expand a network. That's where the leverage comes in our business. Remember we talked at the beginning of this program? What we do is we sell products and services to consumers. That's what we do. We do it through several different ways. One, we personally sell it ourselves. Like you can use your social media to expand your network of customers that are not involved in the distributorship network at all. Okay? That's one way that we do it. Number two, we grow a network of distributors who are doing the same thing. And three, we improve the productivity of that network. I mean, if there's two networks, one is selling a lot and the other one isn't, well, there's two networks that have completely different value. So it's not the network that has value at all. It's the amount of products and services that are moving to consumers through that network, okay? So understanding this, it might help you change your thinking a little bit when you're looking at prospects. There's gonna be some people that are just, they can't get their head around being a distributor right now, but they would be interested in the product. Don't make them feel like a lesser citizen, make them feel like they're not an entrepreneur, they're a loser because they just want to be involved in the product. Let them be involved in the product and then stay connected through social media. Let them know what's going on in the business, in life, and success stories and everything else. And hopefully, as more rapport, more social proof happens for those people, they'll make the decision to say, well, maybe I can start sharing this with them, especially when you can show them how you've been able to use social media in addition to offline forms of marketing. You've blended the two because some people, when they first take a look at network marketing, they're concerned that they don't know enough people. Well, these efforts are going to help you Just in the process of having a conversation with them, you can say, look at what we did together. Can you do the same thing that I did? And the people are going to go, well, maybe I could. Let me give this a shot. So regardless of where they start, they stay for different reasons typically, and it's about 50-50. So customers or distributors, now more, the second reason why customers are very, very important in today's landscape is for many, many years, companies have followed the case law that's been created inside of network marketing that said that distributors that are also customers, and that's just fine. You can build an army of people who are distributors that are their own customer, and that internal consumption is fine. And recently, regulatory agencies have said, we prefer that you have customers that are outside of the network, a significant amount of customers outside of the network that are not just distributors. So companies are like, okay, and just be aware, those of you who are watching this, your companies will be making adjustments to those recent opinions by regulatory agencies to put some more emphasis on customers that are not connected to the distributor network. So this whole process using social media will help you to add more customers. For that reason, for the thickness of your organization, I want you to just imagine everybody in your distributor network as you grow it around the world having 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 customers. Imagine the thickness of that, the amount of volume from that, the productivity of that, the residual income from that, right? The predictability of that. It's massive, okay? So the good news is we can identify people that might be great prospects for our business. We've already done that through Module 4. We've identified people who are prospects now of either the product or the opportunity. Now what do we do to convert those people to either customers or distributors? Here's the good news. This is one of the areas that offline and online is virtually the same thing. I talk in GoPro. Many of you have heard it. I've trained for many, many years. Once you've made the invitation, which you've done, which we talked about in Module 4, making the invitation so there's some interest to having a conversation, you're going to present your product or opportunity to those people. You're going to follow up, and you're going to close. All of this is in GoPro. I'm not going to go in super detail on presentation, follow-up, and close. I will tell you that I'm going to give you some principles on each one, okay? Principles on each one of presenting, follow-up, and closing, and some of the nuances in the social media landscape and some of the differences. Here's the biggest nuance, the biggest key distinction. Get this off of social media. So once you start doing the presentation, don't do the presentation on Facebook. Don't do the presentation on the social media platform that you made the invitation on, that you made the connection on, that you built the rapport on. So get it face-to-face whenever possible. If you're in your local city and you make the invitation, you say, hey, you happen to live in the local city, why don't we have breakfast? Let's get together. And we can talk about this. And it'd be fun to meet you face-to-face anyway, okay? Anytime possible, get it face-to-face. But if you can't get it face-to-face in person, try to get it face-to-face using the internet, whether it's a Skype conversation where you're looking at the other person's face and they're looking at yours. I prefer, worst case is if you're doing it online. That's, like chatting, okay? If you're chatting private messages, stuff like that, SMS, that's worst case, worst. Second worst would be phone calls, doing a phone call, but phone calls are kind of cheap. And then third would be some type of an online platform where you can see the other person, you can build some rapport. And best case, whenever possible, is do what you can to get face-to-face. Get together, have coffee, get together for lunch, get together after work someday, get together over the weekend, get together for breakfast. Find a way to get together and make a connection, because personal connection, this is part of the blend of offline and online. If you just click buttons and expect that you're going to build real rapport, you've got to get a connection with that other human being so they see that you're for real. And they build some confidence in you, that you can help them. That maybe together 1 + 1 adds up to 5. Maybe together you can do something special. You can collaborate, you can do something. So The real key distinction here from all of the people that we talk to is get face-to-face in person whenever possible. And if you can't, then try to get face-to-face using Skype or iChat or whatever. And if you can't do that, then a phone call. But don't do it on the social media platform. In other words, when you're doing it on the social media platform, it's kind of not real. It doesn't have much weight. As soon as you get it off of that platform, it has a lot more weight. It's a completely different conversation. Okay, so that's the key distinction. I've experienced that, and all of the people that we talk to in our interviews of these 77 people that have each recruited more than 100 people, they all agree. You need to get it off of the platform. Stay on the platform. You can divide your results. You're going to get 5% of the results that you would get if you get it off of the platform. Okay? Now, let's talk about presenting. Presenting, if I could make this simple for you, every company has a thing that you do. You know, it's you're going to sample the product. You're going to show a video. You're going to go through a presentation. You're going to explain the opportunity. You're going to show the website, something that you do. You have that thing that you do. You have the standard that happens inside of your company. And I'm not going to give you, talk about it specifically because everybody has the thing that you do. So when you go out there to do the thing, whatever that thing is, you should know that inside of your company. And if you don't, talk to the people in your company. What's the thing that you do to share your product? What's the thing that you do? What is the system that you use in order to be able to share the opportunity? Okay? But the first part, the most important part, as soon as you have this connection with your person that you've met on social media, and you have an ability to have a conversation with them, and you get it off of the platform, the very first thing that you must do is tell your story. You've got to tell your story. If you don't tell your story, you don't have an opportunity to build rapport in the same way. If you don't tell your story, you don't build as much trust, you don't build as much belief, you're not going to have a receptive person. Telling your story is critical. Now, I'm going to teach you specifically how to tell your story. And in doing that, I did a big event recently, and I usually do an exercise at events when I do these training events, and I teach people specifically step by step how to tell a story. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to one of those events, and we're going to go through the exercise of learning how to tell your story properly. So please make sure that you're taking notes. Please make sure that you understand the key distinctions here. If you happen to be with someone else watching this, or you have somebody in your family or whatever that can sit around with you and role play telling your story with you, I think you're going to find it very, very powerful. So check this out. And when you come back, I'm going to teach you how to implement this into converting your social media prospects into customers and into distributors. So check it out. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to stand up and find someone who speaks your language that you do not know. It's very important that you don't cheat with this. Don't go to your friend next to you and let's pretend we don't know each other. Don't do that. Okay? So find somebody you do not know, and I want you to tell your story to each other. Following these 4 steps that you wrote down, use it as a little cheat sheet. We'll put it up on the screen so you can see the 4 during this. I want you to go through the 4 steps. Tell them your background, what you didn't like, the solution that you found, and how you feel about the future, and then reverse it. So the other person does it back to you, okay? Now you have 4 minutes to do this. 4 minutes to find a person, tell the story back and forth. Are you ready? Set, go.
Oh, 'cause you're always trying to get ahead of life. Baby, when you go, you know I'll be waiting on the other side. And I know it's cold, but if you stayed in, I could keep you warm at night.
All right, give yourselves a big round of applause, everybody. Go ahead and sit down. Go ahead and sit down. Okay, what did you learn? Give me some observations. Those of you who did this exercise, what did you learn? Anyone? Anyone who can tell me in English? Yes, what did you learn?
I learned from Mateo that he's very happy now that he has this possibility to be.
No, give me more observations of the exercise. What was it like to share your story? What did you learn by sharing your story and having somebody share theirs? Not exactly their details, just the process.
It's nice to see that we it's nice to see that we all feel free.
It's nice to see that we're all kind of the same, right? Did you notice that you have similarities with the other person? How many people notice that you have something similar with the other person? How many people were surprised that you actually could make a connection with another human being that fast? Within a few minutes. Especially guys. Women do this naturally. They'll go into the bathroom and they'll come out best friends. Guys, we struggle with this. What else did you learn? What was this hard or easy?
Easy.
Easy, it's not hard. Will you get better with practice? Yes, you'll get better with practice. Yes.